JavaScript gives us a couple of different ways to control what this ends up pointing to. So let's look at a couple of these. So we saw the example before where if we end up creating a variable called q, and this is foo.quug, and we end up calling it, we'll find out, since we ended up just pulling the function out, it doesn't have its relationship to foo, and it's just like a naked function. So we see the window object. Well, what if we didn't want that to happen? What if we wanted it to be bound to foo? One of the things we could do is we could actually use the bind method. So every function has a bind method, and we can actually bind the function to an object. So in this case, we could say, hey, look, even though we're pulling this function out and it's a naked function, when you call it, we want it to be bound to foo. And when we run it this time, we'll see that it's bound to foo. We can bind it to any object that we want to. If I took another object here, let's call it x, I could end up binding it to x. And now when we run it, we'll just see an empty object. So what bind allows you to do is to take a function and bind it to whatever object you want to end up binding it to. By the way, this won't work if, in fact, we don't have the function keyword, because functions that have the arrow syntax can't be bound. They have whatever context was available when the function was created. And since this is created in the window object, what we're going to find out that we'd be back to window. So if you do want to do binding, you're going to have to use the function keyword. And here now we could have a bound function. Let's switch this back to foo, and we have this